I have heard many things in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like people constantly saying that synchro summoning, Ziz summoning, and even pendulum summoning will end this game. People write out stating that they will quit and the meta is always cancer even in the most diverse formats. I am a firm believer of meta always existing and always needing to exist. However, especially now, this game has found itself in a pitfall it can only hope to dig its way out of. I know this will sound like hate, but let me assure you right now it is not hate towards the game. It's my personal problems with this game as a whole. And I think these will not end the game like others are thinking. I just think it will spiral out of control and not many people see it with such a level of clarity. We are at the point of the game where trap cards are obsolete. I know there are traps as powerful as Solemn Strike and Solemn Warning out there, but even those are very occasionally played because they do nothing for you going second. It's a shame too because as ironic as it all is, I love the idea and caution behind trap cards. We are at that speed of the game now at the point where any kind of turn setup card is garbage unless it grants pluses or completely stops your opponent's turn, like Emptiness in the past, D-Barrier since its release, although very scarcely played now in the main deck because of Lynx, True King's Return and so on. At this point, I think we can safely say traps are entirely replaced by monsters. Psyframe Gear Gamma is far better than Solemn Strike as an ideal card in a game this fast. Ghost Ogre is easily one of the best 1-for-1s in the game, Ash Blossom is a great disruptor, and Max C is still broken. Also, we have no banlist states. So we cannot invest safely in decks we want to play with competitively. If you do not understand what I mean, think of yourself getting all of full power Performages and pals, $70 Secret Sorcerers, $60 Infinity, Tomius and everything. Then in 2 weeks, half of your engine gets chopped off with the emergency list. Many people were pleased with the list, but most that played the deck got completely screwed of their fair investment. Sherp was broken, but if we look back, Zoo was far more dominant than ever was. Maybe it was because of the first living for 2 or 3 weeks, but it hardly matters. Zoo was allowed to live for way too long and dominated all that time. People say it is pay to win, which I will not argue because the argument only comes from people with little to no success in the game in general. However, the ones that do pay more for a seemingly better deck should be able to enjoy their investments as much as every other player. And that list got on many players' bad side because of that investment going up in smoke so quickly. And speaking of ban lists, we don't need bang lists to push decks out of the meta nowadays. Zoo power corrupt everything before it, True Dracos widen the gap by a country mile, and Spirals completely push out the most dominant deck in the previous format Pendulum Magicians. We are in constant tier 0 formats that only a huge ban list can fix. If Spirals get hit, True Draco and Magicians dominate everything before it. Then if they get hit, Invoked and Trickstars will dominate. I hate all of the previous things in this video, but my biggest problem with this is Master Rule 4 as a whole. This is not the whole this mechanic will end the game kind of thing. I just need to dissect the problems with it. So, here is one. It kills off a lot of decks by playability. This is an argument mostly dedicated to casual players that play this Master Rule. Decks like D/D/D, Gem Knights, Blackwings, Raid Raptors, Cyber Dragons for the most part, they are barely functional under these new rules. Especially D/D/D, which not need a single ban list to shatter this deck's viability with no time in the TCG before Zoo. Every mechanic, yes even Pendulum Summoning, gets hurt a ton as far as functionality is concerned. The only real exception is Pendulum Magicians because of their recurring abilities, natural disruptions and immense search power. And even that is not enough to beat Spirals. And 2, the new Master Rule has turned this game into a more blue version of Omega spamming. With decks that consistently summon Firewall Dragon and easily loop its ability while gathering its own resources and natural disruption, this game became a complete wombo combo game and games only last for 2 to 4 turns, with about 8-minute turns each. It pretty much became a timed solitaire game with the first player having all the time in the world and the second player has to beat at least half the time it took for the first to finish theirs or they lose. The biggest difference between combo decks back then and combo decks now is that combo decks now are nowhere near as fragile and have a far higher ceiling. So my opinion of Yu-Gi-Oh right now is this. The meta is worse than Generation 5 Pokemon's Weather Wars. The game has turned into solitaire. Many of the fun aspects inside and outside of the game is heavily influenced by the sheer speed of the game or Konami's incompetence of handling this game, and I cannot get myself to love it the way I once did. I haven't gotten any deck profile videos done because all I saw while trying to gather replays were either bugging replays or spiral spamming. That's no fun to watch and it's no fun to try to do at a practical level. I cannot play this game competitively knowing the game is like this nowadays. The worst thing a game can be is boring and it is hitting me hard with that dry ice-covered mallet that playing against the meta is boring. This is all like Mid-Spectre Unicorn Kirin. It's not so bad with only one of its effects that is the entire issue. But its effects and impacts altogether are what will further harm this game. Well, all that said, I will continue to play this game and I will for a long time. But I find more joy in casual play and writing. And editing videos for you guys to enjoy. I might be able to provide higher quality videos with that in mind while spirals are around. Once I get this stupid audio program to work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and if you guys like it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the fight for our army and together we will beat the meta. Take care of yourselves.